What is up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we have a little bit of a special kind of video. It's one I've wanted to record for quite a while now, but I just never got around to doing it. And it's really the story of how I went from being really bad at video games, I mean really bad, to hitting the title of Rank 1 Iron Fist and top 500 global on Marvel Rivals pretty much every season, and am able to play on that level with some of the best players in the game and do very well and get MVP in some of those games. How I went from just being really bad to that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because I know it's not until I've reached this rank that even today I look at myself and I think to myself, am I really at this rank? Should I even be here? There's still that little doubt, because for my entire life, basically, I've never been good at these games. And so I kind of want to walk through it a little bit so some people can relate, and it also might help some people figure out, maybe what their goal is or how they can approach it, and maybe someday as well, not just hit whatever rank they're looking for, but maybe even top 500. So I want to start, I guess, with my backstory. Before Marvel Rivals, I really just played one game my whole life, mostly. But I dabbled in other games, but the game I played the most my whole life was World of Warcraft. I played that from probably 10 years, maybe more. It was a very long time of my life. And as you know, this game, I wasn't the greatest at it for majority of that time period. Majority of that time period, I was not good. I simply played it and I loved it. And you didn't need to be good. But it was somewhere near the end, which is a couple years ago before I quit, that I actually decided to myself, I want to get good. And then I ended up going and achieving the equivalent of Lower Eternity from Marvel Rivals, if you're looking at World of Warcraft. I eventually managed to achieve that. But outside of World of Warcraft, I've been really bad at video games. Like, me and my friend, I have a very profound memory of me and my friend in Rust. We lost a 2v1 to a man with a bow, and we both had revolvers. It was pretty bad. Apex Legends, back when it had, I don't know if it still has arena. Last time I played it, it didn't. But back when they had 3v3 arenas, oh man, me and my friends lost about 17 in a row in bronze, the lowest possible division. We were really bad. And all the years, all these different games I've dabbled in, I tried Paladins, I tried Overwatch. I dabbled in all these little games for fun. I loved Battle Royales because Battle Royales were fun. I enjoyed them more because it felt a little bit more like strategy rather than just aiming. There felt like the strategy and the positioning was something I really enjoyed. And so I did end up playing a lot of Battle Royales, especially PUBG when it came out. I played that a lot. And I ended up getting kind of okay at it, but that's because I just enjoyed the game so much. And that's until I played Marvel Rivals. And this is where I want to move on to the very first thing you need to think about when approaching this target of hitting a high rank. The very first and most important thing before you start any of your grinding or whatever it is you may be doing, it comes to passion. I never actually really enjoyed any of these games that I played throughout the years. I never really enjoyed them. And I would play these games and it would be fun to play a little bit with my friends, but I never actually really was like, this is it. This is my game. The only game I ever felt like that was World of Warcraft, but I did eventually quit someday because in my opinion the game went poo-poo. But I never really had a game like that. I tried searching. I loved MMOs, and so for me, I didn't like these first-person shooters. I never liked them at all. It seems boring. I didn't want to get good at it. I didn't want to sit there and train my aim. It was never something I wanted to do. It seems so damn boring. I want to sit there and train my aim for just a little gun on the screen. I liked MMOs. I liked seeing my character, seeing the cool character I'm playing. The role-playing aspect is what of those games. The role-playing aspect of the MMORPG is what I like the most. You feel cool. It's why back then, I tried Dark Souls and I loved it. Same thing with Elden Ring. I loved those games a lot because you could really go into the role you wanted. Now, I was never good at these games. Hence, I always used the overpowered builds. But that's what I liked. I liked wearing heavy armor and shields and maximum strength and being a tank. It just turns out in those games it was super overpowered. I'm very bad. I started an Elden Ring playthrough recently on stream, and that's when I'm realizing I'm pretty bad at rolling because I'm trying to not cheese through it. I really liked that style, and so when I moved on to Elden Ring, recently I'm like, wait, okay, I'm actually not good at all because I kind of cheesed through it by using shields. I knew it was overpowered at the time. It's just the only thing I really liked. I wanted to feel like a knight. I liked it. I liked that aesthetic. And so all these years, there was never really a game that I wanted to get good at. And that was until the release of Marvel Rivals. Me and my friend we were just looking for a game to play for fun. I didn't really go into this game having any expectations, nor did I ever think I would try to even get good at it. And it's until I started playing it that I just felt, wow, the breadth and of things you could do and how strong you felt when you played the characters and how cool you felt. For me, it was Adam Warlock at the start. This is before I touched Iron Fist. I never even thought about playing Iron Fist. I wanted like a warrior-like character, but magic just didn't look cool to me, to be honest. You know, I like big, chunky warriors. But Adam Warlock, to me, was when I first started this game. Me and my friend, we were struggling and losing a lot in bronze and silver. We were losing a lot of games in bronze and silver. We were struggling to get out of silver. We lost like 5 in a row. We weren't playing that well. I think we got close to gold. But I started to really love Adam Warlock. And so even though I always thought training my aim was very boring, for the first time in my life, I actually tried to do it a little bit because Adam Warlock was someone that I felt was so cool. He was similar to a class in World of Warcraft called Holy Paladins. And so I played this character, and I just felt so cool playing him. I felt immersed, like the role-playing aspect. I felt like I wanted to be good at this character. I felt cool playing him. I liked the character. I wanted to, like, immerse myself in it and get really good at it. It felt cool. And so I started grinding to get good at it, and I actually ended up reaching upper platinum, almost diamond, which for me and my history in these games is incredible. I'm usually really bad at these games. And so I know if you watch me a lot and you watch my live streams, you've seen when I went to my alt account and I tried playing a new hero, I am quite bad. I say it all the time, guys. I am quite handless on heroes I don't train myself on. I'm not naturally good at these games. I need to actually really train myself on it. And so the reason why I never ended up developing my aim further is because then I eventually touched Iron Fist for the first time. I went into a game with him, and I was like, oh my god, I want to get good at this character. My mind just felt like it exploded at the play style of the character. I'm like, wow, this is perfect for me. I love this so much. I love how technical you can get with this playstyle. There's limitless possibilities, and I know there's other heroes in the game that are kind of like this, that are more game sense based and are more strategy oriented. For me, I felt like that with Iron Fist. It was a combination of I liked how cool the character looked, I liked the gameplay of the character, the playstyle, and I also liked the range of possibilities of things you could do with the character. And so this for me was the passion. I played this character and I'm like, wow, I want to get good at this character really badly. He is so much fun and he's so cool. And this is a character that for the first time, I felt like if I trained to get good at him, I'd feel proud of myself for what I could accomplish because of the different areas of the brain you have to train. And it just felt like I was engaging myself more versus, for example, training my aim. It felt boring and not something I'd be proud about. Personally, I know some people, maybe they feel different about this, and that's fine. The passion is different for each person. But for me, the aim is something I never felt passionate about. I felt like it was boring. I never wanted to get good at it. And that's the difference, right? There are some people that are really naturally gifted. They don't need to think about getting good at aim. They already have good aim. I don't already have good aim, and I didn't want to get good aim. But that led me to Iron Fist. When I started playing him, I felt like for the first time, this character is just everything I wanted in a game, in a character in a game. So that right there was my burning fire. My burning fire to want to get good at this game is for Iron Fist only. And that is what I encourage you to do when looking at, first, establish what your passion is. If it's Marvel Rivals, it doesn't matter what game it is. It could be any game at all. Figure it. You need to actually be passionate about it. If you're not naturally gifted at this game or these characters, you need to be passionate about it. Otherwise, it's going to feel like a chore, and you might not be able to reach the rank you want. It might feel like a grind that burns you out. You might not even have fun. It might be too stressful. You might not feel the sense of accomplishment when you rank up. And that's what's really important before you start this journey, is how passionate do you feel? A great example I could give is in the Iron Fist community in Marvel Rivals. A lot of the people that play just Iron Fist are incredibly passionate about this character. And so when they hit these new ranks, they come to me like they're celebrating. They're so happy they hit this rank. They feel like they accomplished something that they're happy about. Like I reached celestial skill level on Iron Fist. I'm a celestial Iron Fist. It's something that hits deep down because they wanted it and they love the character and they wanted to be good at the character. So whatever game you're playing, and if it's Marvel Rivals, whatever hero you're playing, or maybe range of heroes, maybe it's divers, maybe it's supports, maybe it's aim characters like Hella Hawkeye, maybe it's tanks. It doesn't matter what it is or the game. The very first step is the passion. You need to actually have the desire to get good at the thing you're playing. That is the most important step. If you don't have that, don't even think about starting the journey to get better at it, because then it's going to be a chore. You're not going to enjoy it. There's not really going to be much of a point. And now you could still do it if you have some weird goal, like, you know, maybe esports. But even then, you're going to subject yourself to all this grinding and all this training for what, right? Make sure it's something you're actually passionate about and you love the character or the game or whatever it is you're trying to get good at. The next thing I want to talk about is how exactly I did it and how you can do it too. How I actually went from being really bad at the game to hitting rank 1 on Iron Fist and top 500, one above all, every season in a competitive hero shooter, which is something I never thought I'd be able to say. And even now, it's like, wow, do I even deserve to be here? It doesn't feel right to me. And so where you want to start is you want to first assess what your actual goal is, right? What is your goal? Your goal doesn't need to be top 500. It doesn't need to be the highest rank in the game. It doesn't need to be that. Start smaller. Maybe, for example, if you're in bronze or you're in one of the lowest ranks in the game, don't set your sights on top 500 and what you need to do to play and how you need to play to be at that rank. Start smaller, work on the fundamentals. Watch guides, watch videos of maybe not esports players, because there's a lot of things they'll be doing that you might misinterpret. You want to watch ladder gameplay, not esports. High-level Iron Fist players, if you're trying to do Iron Fist. Doesn't matter what hero or what game you're playing, watch the pros first. You know, there was this game that I wanted to play years ago. It was called Path of Exile. And there's something I remember. There was someone who was very good at the game, and a piece of advice they gave to new players. Because Path of Exile is a game that's super complex, and there's limitless combinations for builds and things you can do. So what they said was, don't go into this game and just create your own build. No. Follow the meta builds and what the pros tell you to do. Get good at it, learn the game, get accustomed to how things work, and then you could start to diverge from the meta builds to your own unique things later. It's a similar approach that you want to take for, let's just use Marvel Rivals as an example, okay? And what I did. So what I did was I started at a very low rank, and I watched guides, first of all. Guides, especially basic guides, from multiple Iron Fist YouTubers. I watched multiple basic guides. I really nailed in the fundamentals, right? And then after that, I watched, at the time, a high-ranking Iron Fist. In Season 0, when I was learning, a high-ranking Iron Fist was called Samito. I watched many hours of his gameplay, and I simply paid attention to the plays he made. I watched his live streams, and I paid attention to all the different things he did. And I tried to understand why he's doing what he's doing. You know, when he makes a great play, I pause, I rewind, I'd watch why he did what he did, and I think about all these things. And I just kept watching and watching and watching, and with the intent of learning. Not with the intent of, like, enjoying, oh, Marvel Rivals gameplay. I watched with the intention of learning. Now, you don't have to go as extreme as a single hero. It could be a subset of heroes. If you're a support player, you'd watch a high-ranked support player and look at the fundamentals of support. Then you could diverge into specific healers after that. But first, you would want to focus on the fundamentals and the things that they're doing across all the support characters they play. I'm sure there are really high-ranked positioning guides, for example. I'm sure there are out there many high-ranked guides on how to be a proper support player and things to watch out for. But it's not enough to watch the guides. You also want to watch them play on top of the guides to see them doing these things in the actual game. And then once you watch them do them in the game, then you try to start implementing them in your own games and stick to the fundamentals, the basic patterns. Good example is one of the most fundamental patterns on Iron Fist. all the way up till now. It still applies now, even after the reworks. Is dive the back line. Once they force your block out, rotate back to the front line, pummel the tanks, rotate out once you're low, meditate, and repeat the process. This is a fundamental thing that you should stick to every game on lower ranks. It's not until you get to higher ranks that you start to diverge and realize, okay, in this situation, I shouldn't do that. In this situation, I should do that. Maybe I can modify that rotation in this specific situation. That's when you start to diverge. Once I hit Celestial is when I started diverging and coming up with my own thought patterns on how to play this character and my own kind of reasonings. I still watch Samito because there's always things to learn. And by the way, even at my rank now, I still every now and then will watch high rank Iron Fist players because it's such a complex character. There's many different ways to play. Maybe they'll do something that I'm like, hey, I never done that before, actually. And there's always that the ability to learn, right? It never really stops. And so even now, I'll sometimes pop in and watch them and be like, hey, that was a good move. I'm gonna remember that. Kinds of stuff like that, you know. And keep in mind, one thing I want to mention on the goal aspect is you want to set your targets on a realistic goal for you. I work, and so for me, it's not realistic at this current point in time for me to train myself like this on many different heroes. I can't do it because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to train myself on Magic, Black Panther, all the divers, and supports, and tanks, and become a well-rounded player in the game. So for me, I set my sights on one hero because I started from a very bad spot. I started from bronze, guys. I started from bronze. And so for me to go from bronze to rank 1 Iron Fist in top 500, it took a lot of work. Whenever I come home from work, I just play the game. On my weekends, I just play the game because I had a very low starting point and I wanted to go all the way with it. So I had to narrow my focus, and that's what you need to do too, depending on what your goal is. Maybe your goal is to just hit a rank. You don't care how you get there. You just want to be a well-rounded player. Well, then you want to adjust your strategy accordingly, right? You don't need to watch the complex cloak and dagger guides, the super complex blah, 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 blah. You want to focus on the fundamentals of each role, so that way if you need to flex, or maybe you just want to play tank in general, focus on the fundamentals of tank then, and really nail down the fundamentals. Because what I noticed is if you want to go, what I noticed is that the really low end of players, they just don't have the fundamentals down at all. But if you look at players that are in Grandmaster or Celestial, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of mistakes they make, there's a lot of things they don't do, but they have the fundamentals down, and you'll see it. They know the basics of how to play their character, and they have that down really well. Even if sometimes they have games that make them seem like they're a bronze level, right? They know, deep down, they know those fundamentals by heart, and they play them well. And that's where you need to start. Watching high-ranked ladder gameplay of these high-ranked players and see how they do, especially in solo queue. It's very important to watch them in solo queue. If you watch them queuing with other people, it's harder to learn because you don't understand how they adapt and navigate in a natural environment of just queuing in. Now, because when they're playing with other people, they have an enhanced comms, enhanced team synergy. It kind of paints a false picture of what to expect sometimes. So you need to set your goal properly, all right? You need to set your goal. Maybe you don't care about getting Eternity or Celestial, and that's important. You see the paint on my hand? I just got back from work, and I'm recording this video. It's something I wanted to record for a while. Finally found the time to do it. But, yeah, set your goal, and then start watching guides. Start watching how they play the character. And it's very important you watch how they play the character. So, guys, let's just go back and go through the most important things I talked about. Setting your goal, a realistic goal for your time schedule, and for your passion. Maybe you don't care to go to top 500, even if you have the time for it. Set a target. That'll change how you narrow or widen your focus based on how much time you have. Like if you're working, it might be too much to become a well-rounded top 500 player. If you're in bronze, it might be too much. But if you narrow your focus, it can be possible. Doesn't have to just be one hero. It could be divers. It could be supports, because supports all play relatively similar unless you're going into the Atoms or the Mantis or the Ultron that are more third support healers. But if you focus on the core double support healers, a lot of their fundamentals are the same. Just there's slight utility differences with their kits. The fundamentals are the same. So you could stick to double healer supports. You could stick to shield tanks or frontline tanks, not dive tanks. you can really narrow your focus and completely master that. That's why you see a lot of one tricks and a lot of unflexible players getting high in rank, really high in rank, and then being handless on other characters. It's because they narrow their focus and they become so good at that role that whenever they're playing it, they play it really, really well, usually better than the other team who may not be that good at that role. And so because they narrow their focus, they're able to get to that rank. If I did not narrow my focus to just Iron Fist, it would have taken me a lot longer, let alone if I even had the care to do it, to reach top 500. Would have taken me a lot longer, that's assuming I had the care and passion to actually do it. So again, narrow the focus and adjust your focus based on how much time you have, how much you care, where you are, and what rank you want to get to. Then, once you do that, watch guides based off your situation, the character, or the role, and then also watch ladder gameplay solo queue of the role that you're trying to reach the top in. And from there, you can sort of strengthen your skill set and just really narrow in that role. And it'll help you as you rise in rank if you eventually do want to learn other roles, because that's what helped me. If I want to learn another role, my game sense has improved. I'll pick up other roles quicker. And this applies to every rank. Once you're in GM, your game sense will be better. So if you were to start a new account in Bronze and learn a different hero, you might suck at first, but you'll pick it up quicker. And eventually, you'll be able to rank up back to GM, hopefully, although it would take time. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, is a lot of people come into these games and they're naturally good at them. They're naturally good at them, and so they can just pick it up really quickly and reach the higher ranks because maybe they just have really cracked aim already, and they just need to play aim characters. And they'll never be good at Iron Fist unless they train on it, right? But they can just play all the aim characters and just easily reach high ranks. Yet I've reached a higher rank than a lot of those gifted players. A lot of those players that have naturally great skills in these games are lower than me. I've hit top 100, even top 50 in this game. I was MVP against some of the best players in the world that play in tournaments in this game. And I want to let that speak for the fact that hard work can triumph over no work but talent. And that's usually the case. Talent but no work usually loses to hard work but no talent. Because I have absolutely no damn talent for these games. None. I just told you my backstory. I am horrible at these games. I have no talent for it. I had to put in a lot of work. And now I believe I'm in a spot where I understand this character second to no one because of my hard work to understand it. And I believe my skill level has, through my hard work, reached better than most players that have natural talent for these games. And you can do the same thing too, because if I did it from having nothing, and no, I'm not naturally gifted at picking these things up because it took me so damn long. It took me so damn long. It probably took me longer than it will take most of you watching this video. Maybe not most of you, but definitely a lot of you. A lot of you people watching this video probably are maybe spent 10 hours in the game and they're already a Celestial player and they're looking to get to Eternity in top 500. Their talent brings them to Celestial, and now it's time for hard work to go above that. So maybe you've already started pretty far in the race. But the point is, guys, no matter where you're starting, you can beat talent and you can reach the top of this game. You just need to go about it properly. Narrow your focus. Figure out what your goal is. And go from there. Then if you want to expand your focus after, the world is yours to conquer. Be my guest and do that. But start by being realistic. Look at your situation, your passion. What character or what thing in what game do you want to learn that you can enjoy doing and feel happy about once you've done it? And then follow the steps I gave, especially about, the guides and also watching them play in solo queue. One of the most important things, it's how I learned, is I watched countless, and I mean countless hours of Samito playing Iron Fist, and I broke down his gameplay as I was watching it to understand how they're playing this character. And then you got to put in the work. That's why I'm trying, guys, to release so many in-depth Iron Fist guides, because instead of watching them play it to extract this knowledge yourself, you could watch my breakdown where I try to give that extracted knowledge. That way you can train yourself on the extracted knowledge. Like if I do a video about my Iron Fist Academy video on Kunlun Kick, it's not enough to just watch it. now you can apply it versus watching someone play and having to extract that knowledge first and then apply it. It takes out a step. That's what I'm trying to do with these videos, is to maybe provide, or maybe they didn't manage to extract it when you're watching. Maybe you're watching someone play and there's things you don't pick up on that I elaborate in my in-depth guides. I'm not sure if they have these level of in-depth guides for other heroes, but I'm sure there's something out there for you. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helps you in any way, at least a little bit. Something I wanted to do for a while, but I finally decided, you know what, now is the time to do it, because Blade is releasing soon, and I don't pick up on things easily. I really want to get good at Blade, so I'm thinking about doing this again with Blade. I might have to reduce my work hours temporarily because I work a lot, and again, situation's a bit different because I also try to make content. So I have to balance that. So I may try reducing my work hours a bit to train myself on Blade. It will take some time, but I will learn it quicker than I would have 6 or 7 or whenever this game released, maybe 8 or 9 months ago. I will learn it quicker than I did then because I now have the game sense, and also some shared characteristics of playing Iron Fist will be similar on Blade. Some shared play styles and strategies, and so I will pick it up quicker. It won't take me as long as it did on Iron Fist for the first time. And so I do plan on going through this process again with Blade. The difference is it's a new hero, so I'm going to have to maybe innovate some things myself. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you to all of my supporters and everyone that donates and even just watches me. It really helps. And I hope to see you guys around in future videos. As always, guys, take care.